Rebecca Easton to Her-Tastic Journey. I really appreciate you agreeing to be on this podcast. I was just mentioning, Rebecca and I were talking briefly this just a few minutes ago about how we met at an event in November and how I'm like, hey, do you want to be on this podcast? I have no idea what it's even called, and she said yes, and then here she is, 4 months later. So I really appreciate that. A little bit about Rebecca. She is a personal family lawyer dedicated to helping families and business owners make the very best legal, financial, and personal decisions for themselves and their loved ones. She believes that estate and business planning should be more than just documents. It should be lifelong relationships built on trust, guidance, and thoughtful planning. She's born and raised in Tucson. Hey, I'm a native. Not very many of us here in Arizona. And she attended the University of Arizona. She has a degree in psychology and Spanish linguistics. Oh. And before working in the tech and music industry, her passion for service led her to pursue her Juris Doctorate at the University of Denver. That time, she also served on the board of directors for the Youth on Record, helping empower young creatives. Love that. And after 8 years in Colorado, she decided to come back to her roots here in Arizona to be closer to family and in the beautiful Eastmark community in East Mesa. I myself live in East Mesa. She founded Easton Law in 2018, a hyper-local boutique firm focused on estate and business planning. Now with Life Plan Legal, Becky brings her she goes by Becky, not Rebecca. Becky brings her personal family lawyer approach to an even broader range of services, including guardianships and probate matters. Becky is a recognized leader and speaker, having been featured on podcasts such as Speak Up to Lead, The Efficiency Bee, and Cultivating Collaboration with Advantage, and now Her-Tastic Journey podcast.
Yeah.
Another one to add there. She is also deeply involved in her community, having been elected by her neighbors as the first resident director of Eastmark. We actually looked at Eastmark when they were first coming up there. It's a nice community. And Becky is committed to ensuring that her clients don't leave behind legal documents, but a true legacy, one that preserves their values, visions, and well-being of their loved ones for generations to come. When she's not working with families and business owners and being on podcasts and doing all this stuff, she enjoys spending time with her husband, Ryan, traveling the world, and spending time at Disneyland, dancing, and listening to music. So voila, Becky. One thing I do want to ask you is Disneyland or Disney World?
I grew up here, so Disneyland.
Yeah, I agree.
Go every summer. I've been to Disney World a couple times and it's great, but it's harder to do all the things because it's more spread out and bigger.
That's true, because you have to actually leave one to go to the other one. And I think Disneyland's just, it's the OG.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and it's interesting having grown up with Disneyland, having seen it I remember California Adventure being the parking lot.
Right. I do too.
And so it's really interesting to see how it's grown over the years. And now they're adding another land and everything. It's always exciting to see what they're doing, and it's fun.
And how they find it in Anaheim, how they find land in Anaheim.
I know. It's wild to think about that, but yeah, I'm always excited to see kind of what they're doing out there. So, and it's a nice little escape. It's close enough. It's 6 hours from here.
It is.
It's easy. Really easy to pop over for a weekend when we have passes. So it's great.
My husband and I first so I grew up going to Disneyland all of my life as an Arizona native. My grandparents lived in Southern California. So every summer we went to Disneyland. And when I met my husband in our late 20s, and he'd never been to Disneyland. And I was like, what? You're going to be 30 years old and you've never been to Disneyland?
We need to fix that, okay?
It was the next year, we're going to Disneyland.
Yeah, that's so funny. I know. I wouldn't consider myself a Disney adult, but I really, really like Disneyland. Cool. And all going to all the different Disneys and whatnot. I've been to Disneyland Paris and
oh wow.
We're planning, my husband's company just got acquired by a company out of Tokyo. And so slowly they're taking all of their executives over there to see that the new headquarters and everything. And And what most people do is they go out like either early or they plan to like stay late and bring their families over, and
Sure.
they all go to Tokyo Disney.
How
So, so
fun.
that's on our list as soon as he gets to go over.
Very cool. Very, very cool. I've not thought about that. I've only gone to Disney World. Well, I really wanted to go to Epcot Center, so that kind of to me that was like my highlight. So I
Mhm.
ate through every land.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
good stuff.
No, I would do that. I would like to plan going out to like the Food and Wine Festival sometime. That'd be fun.
Yep, that was fun. All right, well, we got to know each other through Disneyland. I love that. All right, so part of Her-Tastic journey is really talking about you, Becky, and what inspired you. I read your bio here. I see that you have a long-standing passion, really, I guess, for believing in what you're doing. But tell me, how did this get started, and when did this start? When did your journey
Yeah.
start?
I think I was talking yesterday with a friend about how I admire people who like always knew what they wanted to do growing up, the little girl who wants to be a judge, and so she's just her whole life, she is geared towards doing that. That was not me.
Okay.
I knew that like I wanted to help people
Hmm.
somehow, but I didn't really know what that looked like. I didn't I don't know, like I was a pretty smart kid, and so I didn't really learn how to like ask for help or like be curious about things. Like I
Yeah.
was curious, but I don't know, I didn't learn
I
very
really
well
like
how to.
what you said there. We could go deeper on that because I think a lot of us are like, well, I kind of haven't figured out, so I don't know how to ask for help,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
'Cause
no, girl, I just turned 44 and I am still struggling with asking for help. Like I didn't learn it at all.
I didn't learn it.
And
And I grew up with a single mom, so and
mm,
she was, like the '70s mom. She was very women,
uh-huh.
single mom, three girls. Like we don't need anybody in our lives. I was like, okay. So I also grew up
Yeah.
with that. So
Yeah.
asking for help is hard.
Yeah. Super hard. So, and it's funny because I look back on like on my life, and not in a negative way, but like
No,
at
no,
those
no.
little points where you're like, oh, if I had made a different decision, what would my life look like now? Like a very good friend of mine's father was in the engineering department at U of A when I was at University of Arizona when I went to undergrad.
Hmm.
And there was a semester where he and I had the same walk, like to and my afternoon class, like I had with Mr. Boyles, and we'd walk and chat just about like normal stuff. Did I once ask him about his position? Uh, did I once ask him about what he did in the engineering department?
Right.
Not a single time. But for sure, if I had said, "Hey, Mr. Boyles, like I'm interested in what you do. Can you?" Oh, my camera's going all over the place. I'm interested in what you do. Like, what sort of research are you doing, or like, what do you tell me about it? He would have 1,000% been like, "Yes, girl. Like,
Yeah.
let's teach you all about it."
There's so many
And
layers to engineering. I mean, there's so many things to engineering.
know. I know. I laugh like because if I could go shake my little 18-year-old self, I'd be like, "You like math and science." Not that I don't love where I am now, but like
I have a
there's a
total,
whole
I have
avenue
a
that I just
projection perception going on right now because I myself was a, 17-year-old, had a baby at 17, moved to California to live with my grandparents, Southern California, with
Mhm,
my little baby. And I was going to the university or San Bernardino County College.
mhm.
And here I am, 18 years old. I don't know anything but anything, but I know I always knew I wanted to be a doctor. So when you said that, I'm like, I wanted to be a doctor since I was like, I don't
Uh-huh.
even remember. Not once did I ask for help at that college. Not once. Not once to say, for someone to say, hey, these are the classes you should take. These are the degree programs. Like
Yeah, you just figured it
nothing.
out, right?
I
You
just
just
kind of
got
figured it out.
you got the book and you looked at the classes and you
I'm like,
figured it
that
out.
one looks interesting. Psychology. Of course I want to take that. I'm 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, seriously. And again, like just I did the exact same thing. I mean, my mom and I just like sat down and kind of looked at it. We sort of went to orientation, but like I grew up in Tucson, and so I was pretty familiar with U of A. Like,
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, I look back now and realize like because I did a Bachelor of Arts in psychology, added another like I'd started, so first of all, like I'd started with a whole bunch of like high school college credits.
Oh,
And so
great. You were a brainiac, or you are a brainiac.
I
I love it.
I, I started as like so I started like a second semester sophomore or something. And so like almost all my gen eds were done. Which again, so I didn't take any gen eds. Again, another just kind of misstep because that's where you like
Figure out what you really want to
this.
do when you.
Well, yeah, you discover something you didn't realize you were interested in,
Yep.
and then you can follow that rabbit hole.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Um, didn't do that. But like added another major, realized I was pretty close with my Spanish classes to being able to add a
Yeah.
major.
Spanish linguistics. That's
Yeah,
fun.
U of
That's
A offers two tracks. And so there's
wow.
Spanish literature and then a Spanish linguistics one. And it was fascinating. Like I really enjoyed it. The professors I had were fabulous. And yeah, I enjoyed that. If I went back for like an academic career, I think I'd love to work in linguistics because
Well, you know
it's
what?
just
You just
so
might.
interesting.
You're only 44.
I know.
You got a
Hey,
lot. You got a
what's my third
whole
act gonna
life.
be? I know.
A whole life going
I
on.
know. Yeah, it's true.
So that's how your journey started, right? That's how the
Yeah, yeah,
beginning
yeah,
of.
yeah. So journey starts. I'm just kind of going along, doing the things, not really asking for help, working in restaurants.
Yep.
I graduated, moved up here to Phoenix, and was working at GoDaddy. And my next step was just into management with them. And I just like wasn't thrilled about it. I was like, I mean, I guess this is what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally hear. I'm totally hearing you right now.
It was and like it was super fun. Like that's where my husband and I met. We worked together there, and it was in like the heyday. Like Bob was still in charge, and his Christmas parties were crazy, and just like it was a fun time to work there for sure. Um, and then it was around then that I realized that transactional attorneys were a thing, and I didn't have to like go to court and, just argue all the time because like that's why I had never really thought about being an attorney because I like grew up watching Law and Order. And I was
Right.
like, "Oh, that's all you do." And I'm like, someone's got to do that, but not me. You know? Um, and so I realized that I could help people plan. I could help people work on businesses. I could, work with entrepreneurs and creatives, and then also now in my business with estate planning, help your family stay out of conflict when something happens to you.
Absolutely.
You know, and so that was
So you were at
2008.
GoDaddy, and you just like the light switch went transaction lawyer,
I
transaction law.
Yeah. And just realized that, I could go to law school and I like school.
Yes, I
So,
like school.
you know, I was like, yeah, let's do that. What else am I doing? I going into management. And so that my husband, then boyfriend, and I moved to Denver for law school. That was 2008.
Okay.
So that was a really good time to leave what were fairly recession-proof jobs,
Yes.
um, to then go live on student loans and minimum wage.
Yep.
So it was good. It was a solid event for the ego. Um, but
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't change it. Like I don't even think I could have gotten better advice, like because talking about not asking for help, did I ask for like help or advice in this whole process? No. However, I don't think I would have gotten better advice about how to do it because being a lawyer before, like it was on a decline probably before 2008. But being a lawyer before 2008 is a lot different than being a lawyer after 2008.
Yes.
It's like it just there's so many of us now too. And so the idea of like, going to law school and then having a paid summer internship and then clerking and then getting a job like right after school and making hundreds of thousands of dollars is like wildly unrealistic now. Um, and whereas that might not have been true for everybody, like most people like were getting a job over the summer. 2008,
That's
no
great.
jobs,
No
no
jobs in
jobs.
2008. No, the housing market crashed.
Nobody
Yeah.
hiring. Yeah. And also for a place like Denver, who like really likes Denver, they like hiring people who, go to school there. They like, it's like a hometown feel. But
And Denver's
when,
very innovative. They're a very innovative community. They've
Mhm.
got a lot. There's a lot of just being in the talent development space, training. There's a lot of training innovation that comes out of Denver. I have, colleagues that
Yeah,
I've known throughout the years.
I,
A lot goes
mhm.
on there.
Yeah, I love it so much. Like I miss Denver all the time, but like it turned out that with this the housing market and the economy crashing and everything, people who like Ivy League attorneys who couldn't afford to live on the coast had lost their job there. Where do you go? Somewhere desirable. And Denver was like super affordable in 2009.
Yes. Yes. I have a girlfriend that still lives
At
there.
2010, it was still very
But
affordable.
not now.
It's not now. I
No.
know. I bought my first house for the adorable price of $122,000.
I remember those days because I lived in Tucson actually, and we bought
Oh
our first
yeah.
house in Tucson over on a Speedway in Houghton, Silverado Hills.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's right where near my parents. They're at Speedway and Kolb.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah. No, it's funny. I like housing prices in Tucson are an interesting thing to watch just because like I grew up there and I know like my parents my family built the house that like my parents live in now and I'm like that cost you like $30,000.
I know it's
Like how much
crazy.
did you just sell it for?
Yes.
300? Like
Yes.
even that which like is low compared to Phoenix, you
Oh
know.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm still like I'm sorry, $300,000 for that? What do you mean?
It's crazy.
I mean, if you want to pay it.
Well, that's why I'm not moving. We're not moving. So tell
Yeah.
me, so tell me now that you went through the journey, you found your way into Denver, back out of Denver, you found your way into law, and then you said, you know what, I'm not going to be the person up there defending the prosecution or the defense, but I want to
Yeah.
help people, and there's this whole other plan for helping people.
Yeah.
And that started in 2018.
Oh, yeah. Well, yep. Yeah, actually.
So
So
that's already 7 years.
I know it's crazy that time goes by so
It
fast.
does.
Like, so we had moved back here a couple years prior to that. Um, and I initially went and was working with an HOA firm in town. But as you can imagine, no little girl's dream of being a collections lawyer when they grow up.
No.
Um,
Well, no, I don't
again,
know. Maybe
I mean,
there
I
could be.
mean,
I'm not
I
gonna,
don't,
if that's what you want to do, go for it.
sure, yeah. I mean,
But not Becky Easton's. That was not
I
her dream.
don't think so. Yeah, no, it was a good experience. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about the attorney I don't want to be,
There you go.
about the manager I don't want to
I
be.
love that. I love that. That is actually a great lesson that you
Hmm.
can share, right? Is learning, watching what's happening in front of you and saying, you know what, that's not who I want to be. That's not
Yeah,
how I want to represent myself.
yeah. So, so that kind of fell apart. Like I wasn't the attorney they wanted me to be, and they were not the law firm that I wanted to work for. And so one
Absolutely.
day it was like, your services are no longer required. And
Absolutely.
I was like, oh, like right now, like you just want me to leave?
No, that happened. I have that happened to me just last summer. That's how I started my own business.
Yeah.
They're like, "You're not the person that we want here," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not the person that I want to be. I don't want to be here either." And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
like, right now,
I know it was crazy. I was like, okay, well, like, do you want me to at least just like go give a summary of like the last things I was working on so whoever can pick it up? And they're like, no. And I'm like, all right,
oh my
bye.
gosh, mine was the opposite. Go ahead and give your 2 weeks notice. We want to keep this hush under the rug. You
Mhm.
know, mutual decisions are made, and I'm like, mutual decisions are being made. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, what a
Funny.
great opportunity.
Yeah. 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 So I actually, it's funny because we met through one of Colleen Biggs's events, and I saw her that night that I got laid off. Like we used to work out together.
Oh, okay.
Um, and so I saw her that night, and I was like, I just got fired, and she's like, oh my God, why don't you do your own thing? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I'll probably do that just to in the interim make it look like I left for something else, right? We'll
Well,
make my
that's
resume.
totally that's 100% our ego
Yeah,
trying
I
to
was like, at the
trying to
very least,
protect us.
yeah,
But
at the
also,
very
I want
least,
to
I'll do that.
and I
And
also want to say that the company that I left, though, they wanted it to look like that
uh-huh,
because they wanted to save their face in a way.
yeah, yep, yeah.
Interesting.
But it
I'm
was her.
loving this conversation.
She's like, just do your own thing.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I just kind of needed that extra like push. And so I started my Easton Law that evening. and,
I love.
and then have, been, gosh, yeah, doing that for 7 years and ultimately, realized that I don't care about running my own firm, which has been a really nice realization because now I just kind of merge my firm up with another in town, Life Plan Legal.
Great. Yeah, I
And
just
so
saw that.
that frees me up to be able to do, what I actually like, working with clients, helping you set up your planning, keeping your family out of court at your death, um, without having to worry about like all the other stuff, keeping
Yes,
the lights.
all the other stuff. I absolutely think collaboration in business, small boutiques working together is great. It really is.
Mhm.
It's the best of both worlds because we're both bringing our geniuses, our brilliance
Yeah.
together for the service of our service, the service of
Mhm.
what we're going to be providing.
Yeah.
Well, we've got
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
2 minutes left. I
Okay.
know, quickly, quickly.
I can talk forever,
I
so
can
like
talk forever too.
time always
We've
just
got to
like
catch up.
evaporates.
So if you were going to, I always end with, going to offer someone some advice. What would that advice be?
Oh, I think it's like really become your own best friend and love yourself as much as you love your best friend. Because I think I one of the things I realized a handful of years ago, like this is again another recent realization, was like how mean I am to myself.
Yes.
Like I would never talk to you the way I like was talking to myself. And your words are really powerful. We don't think about it, but when you drop something and you're like, ah, dummy, like,
Don't
no,
talk to yourself that
no,
way.
you
No,
would never say that to another human being.
never.
Like, and if you do, like, all right, we need to talk about that. But we're so mean to ourselves. And like, why? You're the only thing that's going to be with you 100% of all your days.
I
You
love
might
that.
as well like make friends with yourself. Um, and because I realized also, like, as I really started trying to give myself more grace, um, and more love, I, I don't know, things didn't bother me quite as much. Like
I agree.
I didn't hate these things about myself. I wasn't seeing them like in the rest of the world. And so I just didn't bother me anymore.
I love
So
that. That's fantastic
love yourself.
advice that
Be your
I'm
own
going
best
to
friend.
take that. I'm going to take that advice to my heart. And so how can we find you, Becky Easton?
Yeah, absolutely. So the firm that I'm with right now is Life Plan Legal Arizona. So life, all one word, lifeplanlegalaz.com. And then otherwise, socials, most of them are either still at Easton Law, PLLC, or at Beeston ESQ,
Okay.
Beastonesq. Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you so much. I look
Yeah.
forward to continuing our relationship as the years go on and
Yeah.
seeing.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh,
I'm so happy to help you out.
thank you. All
Yeah.
right, Her-Tastic journey. Really appreciate Becky Easton, lawyer at large. Talk to you later.